So I want to talk about this continuing crack up on the MAGA right because it is happening. I've been telling you guys for months that this was coming and it's here. These MAGAs are attacking each other. They're turning on Trump, more and more of them. He keeps stepping in it. He keeps pissing them off. This Epstein thing, they don't know what to do with it. Some of them obviously are still defending him. Some of them will defend him to the bitter end. Other people are waking up. This rift with Marjorie Taylor Greene is further splitting the MAGA base. Many of these MAGAs are siding with Greene against Trump. I have a few examples of some influential MAGAs who are openly criticizing Trump. Some of them are saying it's over. The Trump administration's over. It's time for us to admit it. So it's getting good. But before I get to that, I want to talk a little bit about Donald Trump with these friggin' tariffs. You know, the economic news every day is bad. There's almost nothing good happening out there in the economy. The warning signs. I just read an article yesterday about the warnings about the Christmas season. And you know that for retailers, Christmas is like make or break. And they're scared to death that this is going to be an awful Christmas. And so they're bracing for that. All the signs point to a continuing worsening economy. And I've got an article right here in USA Today talking about the number of households living paycheck to paycheck is on the rise. It's up over 25% of American households are living paycheck to paycheck. They have money just barely for the necessities in life. And you know, it's increased over last year. It's just everything is going in the wrong direction. And this desperate buffoon, he's scared to death of losing the midterms. He's scared to death of real investigations into his many crimes and acts of corruption. I think the elections in which Republicans got their asses kicked and all the polling data that has come out in the last month or so is not only bad for Trump, but it is potentially disastrous for Republicans in the midterms. And so this buffoon is desperately trying to turn around his poll numbers and improve Republicans' chances because it's all on him. You know, he was out there the other day saying that the reason Republicans got their asses kicked in the elections, you know, last week, almost 2 weeks ago now, was because he wasn't on the ballot in Virginia and New Jersey and New York. He wasn't on the ballot, and that's why Republicans got their asses kicked. No, you fucking buffoon. You were on the ballot. Your name might not have been on the ballot, but you were the central issue in every one of those races, which is why Republicans got their asses kicked so thoroughly. And you're going to be on the ballot. Well, you won't be on the ballot, but you will be the central focus of the midterm elections as well. And that is disaster for your party. And that's one of the reasons also why these MAGAs are beginning to wake up, why there is a split in MAGA, because some of them are smart enough to see the writing on the wall. They can see where this is headed. They are at least honest enough with themselves to see that Donald Trump is fucking everything up, that he is electoral poison for Republicans going forward. And they're like, we can't keep following this buffoon. And some of them are turning like hostile against Trump, and it's great. And of course, then the other ones are attacking those people, and then those people attack back. I mean, if you go to these MAGA spaces online, they are ripping each other to shreds already. I knew this was going to happen. It's happening more quickly and honestly more viciously than I had thought it would be at this point. And so that's great. Um, anyway, to these tariffs, and then I'm going to give you these examples of what I'm talking about here with this MAGA civil war. So Trump is out there now desperately trying to buy support. He's once again promising $2,000 tariff, he's calling them tariff dividend checks. That we've made so much money from these tariffs that we can afford to give everybody $2,000 checks, or at least, everyone but the ultra rich. Give everybody $2,000 checks and then use the rest of all this tariff money to start paying down the debt, is what he said. It's just insanity. This is nothing but just paying people for their support with our taxpayer money. That's all it is, because we're not bringing in anywhere near the kind of money he's pretending that we are. He has said we've brought in trillions of dollars. That's absurd. We've brought in, I think I reported this the other day, I looked up the figures, about 300 billion total from all his tariffs. And not only are we not paying down the debt, the deficit in 1 2 month period, we added $1 trillion to the debt in 2 months. We are adding more to the debt than at any point in American history. Donald Trump was in his first term, and he is again now. He's exceeding what he did in his first term. He's the biggest debt spending president in all of American history. We're not paying down any debt. We're not reducing the deficit. These tariffs are a joke. We're not raising anywhere near that kind of money. All we're doing is hurting the economy, which they now admit without saying it, because now he's walking back a bunch of these tariffs. Because again, he's desperate. He sees he's sitting at a 36% approval rating. That's the latest poll from the Associated Press. He's panicked. So now they're taking off the tariffs. They told us tariffs wouldn't increase the price of anything for American consumers. Now they just basically admitted that, what we all knew, that they do. So anyway, let me give you these examples here. There's this bro podcaster named, what's his name? Tim Dillon. I don't know what platform he's on. I'm looking here. This article talks about his YouTube channel. Let me read a little of this. Popular podcaster and comedian Tim Dillon, who's credited with helping bring young male voters over to President Donald Trump, now has a dire prediction for MAGA. Quote, let's look at Trump here. And I do think, unfortunately, this is the kind of blah, 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 blah. You know what? I think I can play a clip here. He's talking about this being the end of the Trump administration, that he's a lame duck and it's obvious to everybody. So here's part of what he said on his obviously a popular YouTube channel.
Let's look at Trump here. And I do think, unfortunately, this kind of is the end of, and I say unfortunately, not because I care, truly, but I say unfortunately because it seems to not be doing anything good for anyone. This is the end of the Trump administration. This is the beginning of the lame duck presidency. It's obvious to everyone, even his most ardent supporters show up to the White House, like Laura Ingraham, and she's kind of shocked on what the hell's going on. Now we'll start, 3 years of talking about the ballroom. He will trail off. He will get older. He's adorned the White House in gold. Epstein's going to suck the oxygen out of a lot of this. We're going to talk about that a little later on.
Continuing with this article here, I don't have a clip of this part of his podcast, but this article says this. Dillon next played a clip to illustrate his point that Trump is gaslighting America. In the clip, Fox News' Ingraham asking Trump about the number of Chinese students at U.S. colleges and universities, saying, "Why, sir, is that a pro-MAGA position?" Trump said if he stopped allowing international students in, quote, this is Trump, you would have, as you know, historically black colleges and universities would all be out of business. Tim Dillon then interrupted the clip and said, because if Chinese, hold on, stop this for a minute. He's arguing that HSBCs, historical black colleges, will go out of business if Chinese students can't go there. This is the craziest argument I've ever heard. Can you imagine Chinese kids coming over to go to the black college? Dillon added, does anyone believe that? Does anyone believe that we're letting 400,000 Chinese students in so they can keep black colleges going? I mean, how stupid do they think we all are? It's really getting to the point where it's kind of insane. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. So, look, I can't speak. I'm not an expert on this Tim Dillon guy or a lot of these podcast bros. But from everything I've read, a lot of these very influential podcast bro types who brought so many young men into the process in 2024 and got them to vote for Donald Trump. Many of them had not really been their shows aren't all about politics. They're about culture, pop culture and whatever the hell else they talk about, sports and bro stuff. I don't know. I don't watch. This is just from what I've read and heard other people talk about who I trust on this stuff. But they're not primarily politically driven, and they weren't MAGA. They were MAGA adjacent, I guess. They tend to side with MAGA on stuff. They certainly supported Trump in this last election, but they weren't part of the cult. They weren't full on aboard the Trump train, Trump cultists, just every day, head up Trump's ass kind of people. They sided with Trump for whatever the damn reason in this last election. But they aren't part of his cult, and they're abandoning him because they see that all the things Trump promised, it was all bullshit. And when you're not part of the cult and you can actually look at these things like from a distance, from outside the cult, as many of these podcast bros apparently are, you don't have to look at too much that's going on to realize, well, that was all bullshit. Everything Trump said is all bullshit. We fell for the lies here. And that's what a lot of them are saying. And, Tim Dillon is not the only one. I've read many stories about a lot of these other shows. Famously, Joe Rogan is, he's backpedaled sort of on his support for Trump over the way they're, ICE is kidnapping people and abusing people. Rogan is wringing his hands, talking about, oh, we're headed for a bona fide civil war. Yeah, well, you voted for this, you jackass. You helped put us on this course. Anyway, so a lot of these bro podcasters are starting to turn on Trump, and some others as well. I got a clip. I have two other people I want to get to real quick. First is Nick Fuentes. I'm going to play you a quick clip of him. He has turned big time against Trump. And remember, he was at Mar-a-Lago, dining with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. He was all on board the Trump train. He has turned on him big time. He says Trump betrayed MAGA.
And I had people last year, friends of mine, tell me, you're being disloyal to Trump. No, you've got it wrong. Trump has been disloyal to us. What more do we owe this person? Seriously. How many of you got fired from your jobs, expelled from your school? How many of you got hit in the face, lost friends because you supported Trump? How many of you went to jail in the Capitol, lost a social media account? How much acrimony, how many problems has the Trump movement created in your life because you supported him? And how have we been repaid? Then he bombs Iran. Then he cuts the corporate taxes again, buries the Epstein files. Serves you right. You trusted Trump. You can't trust Trump. He's not loyal. I had friends of mine say, you're not loyal to Trump. We're still trusting the plan. Mr. President, I support you. And these people have watched as Elon has stopped supporting him, as Tucker has stopped supporting him, as Candace Owens has stopped supporting him. And now Marjorie Greene has stopped supporting. I guess they're all traitors. I guess they were all wrong. And what does Trump even stand for anymore? I said this earlier in the week. Trump is not the be-all, end-all. We supported Trump because of what he represented. We didn't vote for Trump because he was an obnoxious boomer. We voted for Trump because he was going to put America first. Now none of that is happening.
Now, obviously, I don't play Nick Fuentes because I agree with him on a lot of things. But he has said some things about Trump that are objectively true. The point is, these MAGAs are turning on him. A lot of these people, they're turning on him for a whole host of reasons. Nick Fuentes is turning on him because he's not, he hasn't followed through on the worst of the things that he promised, things that neo-Nazi types like Nick Fuentes want to see happen. They feel betrayed. Anyway, these people are ripping each other apart. And then finally, I just want to, I came across a clip from Alex Jones. Now, he's soft pedaling still his criticism of Trump, but he's not happy. And he's one of these people, he's trying desperately to get Donald Trump to course correct. He's really upset about Trump attacking Marjorie Taylor Greene. And so let me play a little of this.
But on the other, the course you're starting to go on Trump, if it keeps going, is bad, bad, bad. Just like I told you, making a deal with the deep state and the Democrats to back off the Epstein thing, and they'd be nice. You got screwed in the butt. Made a deal with the devil. He took that pitchfork and shoved it right in your arse. And now doing this to MTG. And I know Trump's tactics. He'll be mean to somebody for a while, and then they course correct. He's nice to him. She ain't going to course correct Trump. She doesn't want to be a darling on Bill Maher in The View. When she went on Bill Maher in The View, she said, I love Trump. Overall, he's great. Blah, blah. I just want him to do better on these policies. I'm trying to help him. You call her nutty. You call her crazy. You do all that. No. No, what you're doing is destructive. What you're doing is wrong.
So the point is, these MAGAs are turning on him, some of them. And they're turning on each other. And they can see the writing on the wall. They know this guy's a lame duck. They know he's going to be gone soon. They're jockeying for position. They want to be the dominant faction once MAGA implodes, because it's going to. It cannot survive. This is a personality cult, and it is not going to survive the loss of their cult leader. And this guy is going to be gone soon, one way or another, and they can all see it. And the fact that he is never going to be a candidate again, they see that he's not their guy going forward. And many of them can see that in the future, he's only going to be, hurtful to them. He's only going to drag them all down. And so what is the benefit to them of continuing to defend him? Many of them are reaching this conclusion, as I've been talking about. But a lot of them obviously are not. They're ride or die with Trump till the end. And so you're going to have tension there. The people who want to move on from Trump for their own self-preservation reasons versus the people who they're just going to support Trump no matter what. This is getting good. It's getting good, and it's only going to get worse. And I think it's different this time because we have had some instances over the years where Trump has done something and he's seemingly has lost some support. MAGAs seem to be waking up, but then they come right back. And that might happen here because we're still early in the Trump presidency. We're not even a full year in. So something could happen. They rally around him. They snap back to defending him. But this has been pretty sustained. More sustained than I have seen it before. It's more broad-based than I've seen it before. And what's different this time is Trump will never be on a ballot again. He is not the future for them. That's what's different this time. When he was running in 2020, he was their candidate. After he had been defeated, he was still their candidate. He announced, he said he was going to run again. He announced that very, very early to try to prevent himself from being indicted. He tried to say, well, I'm a candidate. They're just trying to, use the Justice Department to lock up their political opposition. So he did all that. So he had always been their guy, always been. And now he's been reelected. Now he can never be their guy again. Not as a candidate, not as the future. I mean, he's their guy now because he's in there, but he's not the future. And that's what's different now. And I'm telling you, I fully believe that MAGA is enough of them are going to turn on him. The Civil War is going to proceed. And it's different this time. It's different. I think the MAGA implosion, as it always had to happen, because it just had to. Personality cults do not live beyond their cult leader. And it's beginning to implode now, and it's only going to get better. And I am freaking here for it. So grab the popcorn. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.